The European Union is requiring USB-C on all new phones. Coming up, I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing for Apple and its shareholders. Coming up on The Job. Hi folks, Alex Klingelhoeffer here with Exencial Wealth Advisors. It is 8:07 here in the middle part of the country on Tuesday. It is October 4th, 2022. Here's your morning jog around the economic headlines of the world. I want to start off with a bit of a tale. Apple making all of their iPhones using lightning cables. Then here's about an EU proposition that all phones must have USB-C chargers like those of Samsung and Google. Apple thinks about it. Hey, we don't want that. That sounds terrible. It'll disrupt our technology. It'll disrupt our technology. So if you're an Apple executive board member and you're forced to make this transition, what does this mean? It means you now get to put a line item on your bill for complying with the EU regulation. It means that Apple, which for years has sort of been stuck around that $1,300, $1,400 price point, can suddenly have a $50 or $100 charge to include the new USB-C. Now, the European Commission says that it will save consumers 250 million euros to switch to a single charger. It'll save consumers 250 million euros. Well, guess what, folks? If Apple sells 5 million iPhones with a $50 upcharge, that 250 million gets wiped away. It goes back to Apple shareholders. Everything else is gravy. Regulation. Think of it as an opportunity, folks, not a limitation. Speaking of bad policy, White House ruling out a ban on natural gas exports this winter, right? We'll keep shipping gas to Europe. Of course. Shouldn't even be on the table. U.S. has gas that's mostly a waste product. Henry Hub has gone up a little bit, but goodness, those spreads are making shippers tons of money. LNG rates are, for tankers, are 300, 400,000 a day. The spread makes you 150 or 200 million if you ship gas from U.S. Europe. Of course, we're going to help our allies. The real bogus thing here is that it was even on the table in the first place. In fact, what is the White House going to come out next and say? Although we're not banning natural gas sales to Europe, we'll think about keeping oil here for the election. That's right. Perhaps an oil ban or a diesel ban, export ban, is on the table. Sending liquids to Europe, no longer legal for the election period, keeps gas prices low here. Europeans freeze to death. Guys, it's crazy this was even on the docket, that it was even discussed. Let the molecules flow to our allies in need. It's pretty darn simple. Last but not least, before we get you off to a nice Tuesday, Manhattan. See home prices coming down a little bit, right? I think it was 1.15 million average price, down about 7% here in the third quarter. That's really where the property declines are coming. These East Coast, West Coast markets, coastal cities that have been bid up even after the pandemic. By the way, prices still better than they were before the pandemic. Do not see a countrywide housing shortage, especially across the vast swath of America that locked in reasonable mortgage rates during these last 10 to 12 years. If you are looking for prices to come down on the cities, fair enough. If you care about the great swath of America that has the land, it's probably not a big issue. If you want some additional info throughout the rest of the week, feel free to find me on the internet. I'm out there. Until then, hope you, your family, have a really good rest of your Tuesday. I am out.